Hello, everybody. It's Alex Morawski from In Pursuit of Purpose, and today we're going to be talking about identity and purpose in athletics. I'm joined here today by my two friends, Sebastiano DiModica and Chris Niblock. Starting with Sebastiano, just give us 30 seconds to tell us, who are you?
So, as Alex introduced me, my name is Sebastiano DiModica. I come from a very big Italian family, and I'm a freshman here at High Point University studying entrepreneurship with a minor in sales and marketing.
And I'm Chris Niblock. I'm also at High Point University. I play soccer here. I'm a freshman. I live in Virginia, but I'm originally from Australia, and I moved here 3 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
Awesome. And you guys both play soccer, correct?
Yes.
All right, Sebastiano, tell us a little bit about your soccer journey and where you're at right now with soccer.
Yeah, so soccer is a sport I fell in love with when I was very young, and I played my whole life. I've played a lot of other sports while I was playing soccer, but really soccer is the one that stuck through the most and the one that I competed in the most. I looked to play at a bunch of different schools heading into college, transitioning from high school to college, and kind of decided that my life was going to take a turn, and this idea of playing D1 soccer might not be in my best interest for what I want to do with my life. And so I decided to come to High Point University, and now I'm on the A team for the club team here, and it's been incredible. I've made some amazing friendships, and I'm getting to continue my love of soccer while also pursuing other things outside of or off the field.
Awesome. And Chris, tell us a little bit about your soccer journey and where you're at now.
Yeah, well, it's been kind of like a lifelong thing for me. I started when I was 7. Yeah, 7. I was just playing like as on a club team, and then I eventually fell in love with it, and I started going kind of up the ranks, and it kind of became a whole life, and it ties into what we're talking about today because it's pretty much my whole identity, and I've done it my whole life, and that's always been what I've done, and I've been fortunate enough to get to a level where I'm playing D1 out of school, but anything can change at any point. So I mean, I'm very I have a lot of gratitude that I can still play and hopefully reach the next level, but I'm still open to other career routes in my life.
Yeah. And like both of you guys, I also played soccer growing up. I've played since the 4th grade, played competitively and for my high school. However, I found out that I wasn't going to be able to play college soccer at High Point University. So I had to make a decision, school or soccer. And I chose school. I'm here at High Point, not playing soccer. I play intramurals, but that's about it. So I ended my soccer career, my competitive soccer career, in May. So now to kind of get into what we're going to be talking about today, we're talking about purpose and identity. So just in one sentence, how would you guys define purpose?
I think purpose is the reason why you do everything every day, the reason why you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for me, I'm a huge believer that purpose is subjective, and each person's purpose is going to differ depending on what their values are and where they're rooted in life. For me, my purpose is based around my relationship with God, but I know for many other people, it's based around certain beliefs that they have and how they see the world, their perspective on the world.
Yeah. I would define purpose as the reason why you do what you do. Do you guys think purpose is related to identity? And if so, how?
Yeah, I mean, I think to expand on what I just talked about, I think each person has their own set of morals and values that they cherish and realize that this is how I want to live my life. And when you do, the way you act on those morals is basically that defines your purpose in life. So if you want to be a person of integrity and a person who forms relationship with others, then you're going to be somebody who loves and cares, and each day when you wake up, that's going to be your goal for the day,
Yeah.
So I think it starts from this bigger pool of things that you cherish and kind of funnels into your purpose in the world.
Yeah, that's very good. Chris, you have anything to add to that?
See, I think similarly that identity and purpose are tied together. And I think purpose is definitely different for everyone. And there's so many people that have such differing beliefs, but everyone has their own idea of what they think is right and what they think they want to do every day. And purpose for me is just, with my values, I just want to just be the best I can in whatever I do. I feel I don't really believe in like half-hearting certain things. Like if you're gonna do it, you need to put your all into it. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said for eliminating a lot of distractions, and what your main purpose is, your main goal in life, you need to chase it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's some information that I want to propose to you guys, some thoughts. So purpose stems from identity, because you can't really know what you're supposed to do until you know who you are. And something becomes your purpose as soon as you begin to identify with it. So when you put your identity in your sport, it becomes your purpose, which doesn't necessarily sound like a bad thing at first. But what do you guys think is the problem with having your identity in a sport?
Well, I would start with, there's a lot of people that I know that have played their whole life, and it's always been their thing to lean on, their backbone is that they're a soccer player. But obviously, in your case, sometimes, you have to pursue other things instead. And lots of people I know have got career-ending injuries, and for 1 second that's their identity, and then the next second they have to find something else. And I think it leaves a lot of people with a very big hole in their, not like, I wouldn't say personality, but like their person, like who they are.
Yeah.
And there's so many other things that you can develop in your life, and I think it's important to try and round yourself out as a person. Obviously, we're still young. We've got a lot to do to round ourselves as a human. But I think, soccer or sport in general is a great identity to have, but you can't be the whole identity,
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And this is something I haven't shared with you guys before this, but actually in high school, when I was a sophomore going into my junior year, I fractured my spine. I had my third vertebrae from the bottom of my spine. I fractured it, and I was in a full torso cast. It was like this brace that I had to wear. And for me, that was, like you said, like being active, not necessarily just soccer, but just like an active lifestyle is what I found my identity in. And the high school I was at was a all-boys preparatory school, so it was very competitive as far as athletics. And throughout this process of me hurting my back and kind of dealing with all these identity crises, I realized that, I'm not alone in this. Like, I talk to my classmates every day, and like they feel this same way where like without their sport, they don't think they have any value. And I started to do some more research and realized that it's actually like I focus on specifically young boys because that's where I was that's the environment I was in. But specifically young guys struggle with this idea of putting all of their identity in sports. And what happens is injuries, career changes, structural changes in like the sport can happen, and then your whole identity is thrown off. And so I was luckily able to kind of counteract that by starting this sort of group with some of the team captains on our school and figure out other places we can put our identity, which I found very impactful. And a lot of I gained a big following through that group because it was one of those things where so many people don't want to put their hand up and say that their life revolves around their sport. But then once you do, you realize oh shoot, it's a problem,
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We did not know
that was kind of like a little nugget.
You actually answered one of the questions I was going to ask, which is great. And the question was there any time, maybe an injury, that you felt like you didn't know who you were without soccer? But you answered that spot on. I think some of the dangers in having your identity in a sport is, one, like I said, it becomes your purpose. And then when your purpose is in a sport, then your purpose becomes a destination rather than a journey. And it's dictated by how close am I to this destination? How close am I to this goal? Instead of, am I giving my all every single day?
I like that.
So I would even argue that if your purpose was in a destination, that's not a purpose at all. It's almost a false sense of purpose. I'm going to read you guys some statistics here from the British Broadcasting Company. And it says 1 in 2 athletes have concerns over mental and emotional well-being after their time playing is over. In interviews, they told the company that they have lost their identity and feel lost, regret, and devastation. Kelly Holmes, a former Olympic runner, said this after her sporting career ended in 2005. The biggest thing I felt was a loss of identity and purpose. Suddenly, the structure, the people you call on, it all goes. But with no idea of what you want to do and who you want to be. And that's a really lonely place. And I got quite depressed around that time. So, you answered the question, have you ever felt lost without your sport, maybe an injury? I don't play soccer anymore. You guys both do. Are you guys scared of a life without your sport?
Honestly, yeah. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm very scared of it because I just don't know, like, what I would do every day. I feel like my day kind of revolves around it or something that contributes towards it, whether it be the gym or other stuff, or training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what I would do, but I think, having as your identity is not the best thing, but I think going through that journey, even if it doesn't end up in the end goal of whatever, being professional or whatever, I feel like there's a lot to be said about the adversity that you face throughout a career. It's the same for everyone. Everyone has a lot of adversity, and that kind of, it toughens you. And I feel like without hard times, you won't be able to grow as a person and be able to handle challenges later in life.
I really liked when you said something about maybe not getting there.
Yeah.
And there's this quote that I heard, and I try and live by this all the time. And it's, a dream is worth chasing if you're okay with not getting it. Because nothing's promised. BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, also said that the struggle to find a new purpose can lead to more serious problems, such as depression, self-harm, addiction, and financial problems. So I think that really highlights that the problems that a lot of people face aren't the problems at all, in themselves, but more of a result of a lack of purpose. People don't know what their life is supposed to be, in this case without their sport, that it leads to a series of so many problems. And that leads us to our big idea of this podcast. And it's, what you do does not bring us purpose, but we bring our purpose to what we do. Soccer is not who you are. It's just what you do at the moment. So how can you guys carry out your purpose into soccer and carry out that same purpose to every aspect of your life?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. That's well formulated for sure. I just want to share something real quick because it resonates with me when I think of bringing my purpose to what I do every day. And for me, it's this one crossing lady that works at our school at the intersection of Wannick and where Slane meets. And for me, it's been incredible for me, especially the last few weeks, because I've seen how this woman, I don't even know her name, but she brings her purpose every single day.
I know exactly who you're talking about without even a name.
And it's so incredible. And I admire her for it because it's that's the true beauty in finding your, this woman, I don't know her, but I know that she knows what her purpose on this world is, because she's doing what most may argue a tedious task of helping people cross a road. And it's not something of, obviously it does involve some sort of life stake, but it's not something of huge grandeur.
Yeah, it seems small.
It seems like a small task, but she tackles it with so much positivity, so much encouragement towards the students on campus, that she's making an impact on this world. And I know if I got to know her, I'm sure her purpose would revolve around that.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's the same way on the soccer field. I'm a man of faith who wants to be an ambassador for Jesus in every day, and that's the purpose I bring to the world. And so I think on the soccer field, the way I do that is by in the way I communicate with my teammates. I think all my teammates know that I communicate in a way that glorifies God, and you won't hear me cursing on the field. No matter how angry I get, you won't hear me yelling at my teammates in a way that attacks their character, because I know that what's on the field is on the field, and these people have a larger purpose in life. So I think that's what it is for me as far as on the field. But.
Yeah.
And I would love to touch on the lady that helps cross the road. I noticed that every day, and one thing that I've always noticed is it really changes the vibe of the whole place. It could so easily be, if they were negative, cross, you can cross now, go. Everyone, it would just bring the energy down, if you know what I'm saying. And by her being so positive, it's it really brings an energy around the place of happiness and around,
Positive energy is very contagious.
And that it's just like that on the field. You know,
Yes.
if you show up to practice and you're out there like, let's go, guys, it's going to be a great practice today. Like, we got this. No matter what your day was like, you could have had the worst few hours of your day. But if you pull up to practice and you're like, come on, guys, we're a family. We got this. Like, today's going to be a good training. Helping people out with your words, like, that's how you change the
100%.
momentum of a team.
Yeah.
The thing to be careful for is that negative energy is also just as contagious. So you got to be really aware of what type of energy you're bringing. But I have 2 applications for both you and for everyone that's watching. The first is have a strong identity, but not in your works, but in the person that God created you to be. Because it's the only thing that remains the same in an ever-changing world. Soccer can be taken from you. Your career could take a turn. You can get a career-ending injury. You never know when your last day playing is going to be. So you got to have a strong identity that's not works-based. And the second is to have a purpose that doesn't come from an earthly source. Purpose should be something that comes from the internal and applies to the external, and not something external that affects your internal. It's in, out, not out, in.
Yeah.
Just like the crossing guard. The job of a crossing guard, like we all agreed on, is not that big of a job. It's tedious. It's not a job a lot of people want to do. And if her identity was the crossing guard, I'm just a crossing guard, it makes her small. It makes her purpose small. But when her purpose is inside and she's bringing it to that job, she makes that job so much bigger than it is because of the big purpose she puts behind it. So I always say, put your identity in Jesus Christ. He'll give you a purpose, and then you can bring that purpose to everything that you do.
I love that.
Yeah. So
And I like the idea of the labeling that you mentioned,
Yes.
because it's like she could label herself as a crossing guard.
No.
But now
no.
she's not just a crossing guard. She's an encourager. She's
Yeah.
an inspirer. She uplifts people. Like, and that's so much more. You know?
And it goes back to what I said earlier about soccer's not who you are, it's what you do. A crossing guard's not who she is.
Yeah.
It's just what she does. So to wrap up, I have one question for both of you guys. Same question. We'll start with Chris. Without saying what you do, who are you, and what is your purpose?
I think I want to be someone who is what I think I'm someone. I feel like I would describe myself as outgoing. I would say that I can get along with anyone, and I think above all, I feel like I love to be social, and I love to not be active in the sense of exercise, but be doing things. Like, I feel like I cannot be alone. I don't like being alone. I like to be with my friends or with anyone or with family, just doing stuff and trying to, I don't know, just be happy all the time and joke around all the time. That's always been something that I've done. And then on the other hand, I've always just been like, I would really want to work hard at what I do, no matter what it is, and not leave anything out on the table, any like what ifs, you know.
Awesome.
That's how I describe myself as my purpose.
Awesome. And Sebastiano, without saying what you do, who are you and what is your purpose?
So, I mean, I am a person of integrity, and that is what I aim to be. And, you know, I was able to think about that a lot this last week, especially regarding my purpose, is being a person of integrity. And that word is so powerful because, like, people can take away anything from you. They can take away your house, your sport, all these worldly things that you can be robbed of. You're the only one who can give away your integrity. And so for me, I want to be a person of integrity that lives for Jesus.
Awesome.
And in doing that, I can do all the things like Chris mentioned, where like I'm valuing my relationships in life. I'm showing people that I care. I'm driven. I'm passionate. All those things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I won't ask a question that I won't answer, so I'll give you my answer.
Yes,
real quick.
that's what I wanted to hear.
Who is
your
Alex Morawski? Alex Morawski is a child of God who strives to bear good fruit, to carry integrity, to stay disciplined, and to bring his purpose to everything that he does. And I think my purpose entails helping others, being a positive light, trying to just bring people up, be there for people, be dependable. And then, of course, we all have our heavenly purpose, which is to advance the kingdom of God in everything that we do.
Amen.
So that is who Alex Morawski is. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. Thank you for watching. In Pursuit of Purpose, talking about identity and purpose in athletics. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.